This is the week we've all been waiting for. Oh my God. I'm so excited. If you haven't seen this on my Instagram stories, I am moving to my Venus MC line this week. And I'm so excited. I've never lived on my Venus line. I've only visited, so we'll see how it's going to go. I do have Venus square Chiron in my chart. If you've taken my astrocartography courses that live in my membership, my inner circle membership, then you know I talk about in there teaching you how to read your astrocartography. It comes down to a lot more than just the line itself. It comes down to what's going on in your chart, because your astrocartography is really like your relocation chart with lines. Like your Venus MC line is where Venus is on your MC, like in the relocation chart. And anyways, I talk about that in the classes and the courses that are in my membership on it. If you've taken those in my membership, then you already know. But yeah, I'm so excited to experiment with astrocartography in this new way, and it begins this week for me. So I know that this week is going to be a lot of new beginnings for everyone. This is really the major energy of right now with everything we have in Capricorn. We talked about this last week. Everything was kind of building up to this week. Last week, in these big major changes with our structure, with our foundation, we have a new moon in Capricorn at the end of this week that will be harmonizing with Uranus, which is the planet of change. Change is chaotic. Change is kind of unstable. There's a lot of unknowns that come with change, but all of the transits that are happening this week are very much supporting us in making the changes we want and the changes we probably need moving forward into this 1 year, into the year of the horse that begins on February 17th. I did a deep dive of the month-to-month transits of 2026 in my membership. If you've already watched it or you joined us live, then you already know about all of this energy that's going to be going on February, March, and April, but it's going to get crazy. And right now, it is all about what are we doing at the start of that craziness to have a solid foundation. Like what foundations, what systems or structures are we building for ourselves to have this new life in a way that is sustainable, in a way that is not going to crumble, in a way that is really paving our life moving forward from this point on. So, and it begins this week. Like, I'm just so excited for everything that's going to be going on this week. What else do we have? We don't have any major thing going on with the outer planets or anything like that. That doesn't start until the end of January. We do have Venus moving into Aquarius towards the end of this week, and it will move over Pluto, which will bring more change, more transformation. All of that is really going to be catalyzed this week. All the changes we've been wanting, all the changes we've been stepping into, stepping towards, for probably quite some time for a lot of us, as we're wrapping up these big cycles in Neptune and with Saturn and Pisces. I talked about this as well in the 2026 deep dive that is exclusive to my membership, and the 2026 video that's on my YouTube. I gave horoscopes and my general predictions and the energy, but in the video, it's like 2 hours that I did in my membership for 2026, we went deep into the astrology jargon, into the actual transits, what's going to be going on, the eclipses, the Mercury retrogrades, when planets move into new signs, because there's quite a bit of that in 2026. That's also why this year is such a big deal. But anyways, if you want to check that out, come join my membership if you're not already inside and have seen it. Pretty big deal, everything that's going to be going on this year, and it really starts now. So, is there anything else about this week I want to say before we get into the horoscopes? I am literally just so excited, y'all, to be moving and starting this new chapter of my life, and I know we're all hopefully going to be feeling that energy this week as well. This is really like the week to act, the week to start the new life, to really take the major steps to it, even if it's a little scary, or even if it requires us to have a little bit of faith and really act before we know or have all the answers or have the how. It's really been a big theme of my life. I'll probably write a book about this eventually, of how many times I've had to take a leap of faith and jump into things without having anything else figured out. I mean, that's how I started this whole business, but teaching astrology and human design, it wasn't my goal. It wasn't what I set out to do years ago when it began, but I took a leap of faith into something new and different. And here I am, like almost 6 years later, which is nuts. This is my 9th year anniversary of entrepreneurship, my second business, and my 6th year anniversary of doing astrology and human design. So anyways, is that all I want to say about this week? I think that pretty much covers it. So let's get into the horoscopes. Aries Rising, there is going to be big change with your money this week, with your career. This could be a promotion. This could you starting something completely different within your career, starting a business and it kind of taking off. Something related to that. There could be, though, like a kind of tug of war between your career and what's going on at home or what's going on with you. You're really having to step in a whole new identity this week. But on Tuesday, it feels like there's a lot of change within your money that supports these changes that you're making to yourself, to your career, to your work, related to the inner work that you've been doing. As we get into Wednesday, there's a big emotional focus on your perspective, maybe changing things about your belief system or your mindset moving forward to support the changes that you're making, to support the new thing that you're stepping into. As there's going to be, some really big challenges for you to face this week as it relates to what you're doing with your career and what the old version of you was doing with their career. It's really like you having to step into this new version of yourself, maybe even before it's on the external. Like you really have to form that energy and new identity and new life within yourself before you see it manifest fully on the external. I do feel like there's a lot of changes externally, especially this week. But again, it's really all about too for you cultivating this inner sense of those changes and that expansion, however that's showing up for you. It might require you to release something about your routine or your kind of day-to-day structure to make some refinements there of like, okay, if I had all the money I wanted or whatever, would I be doing this on a daily basis? Well, no. Okay, what would I be doing instead? And then it feels like Thursday, there's a really big click into place with all of this new energy. There's things that just kind of, I don't know how else to say it, that catalyze, they click into place of like this change happening for you. It could be things really solidifying with what's going on in your money and your career. Again, related to these changes that you've been experiencing and that have been affecting as well your perspective, the way that you're viewing life around you has changed. And it's changing everything on the outside. As we get into Friday, the emotional focus shifts into your career. So there's this big, again, everything you're doing, you're deciding to really fully move forward in this and have a new beginning with your career, with your public image, with work, with what you're doing for money. It feels like there's a lot of positive change there, potential for positive change as well, as long as you embrace the unknown. And there might be, some obvious things to act on and to move towards, but a lot of it maybe still also is kind of unknown to you. And it's about what is being presented to you right now to act on, and it will lead you to the next thing. This new moon for you that we have going on Sunday is going to be in your area of career. So there's a big emotional new beginning, opportunity to set intentions towards what you want in your career, what you want to build, and have those changes really manifest in the coming weeks and months. There's a big emotional, and I keep saying emotional. It feels really like big inner shifts for you, like really stepping into the version of yourself that has what you want, that is valued, that is worthy, that is, everything that is manifesting for you. It's like cultivating that energy in yourself to support all these changes on the outside and how they are occurring. And that's going to be a big theme as we end out the week for you, Aries. So that's your week ahead. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Taurus Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your relationships. There might be something you have to change about your relationships or about your kind of maybe day to day moving forward related to who you're talking to, where you're going on a daily basis. That's actually more in alignment with your goals and what you want to do moving forward. There might be something about that that really triggers something in your subconscious to be looked at, to be shifted. There's a lot of work going on within your perspective of life that's really changing how you view the world around you. There could be a lot of things that you're learning that are new as well, that are helping you to build this new solid foundation of your life moving forward. And then as we get into Tuesday, there feels like the potential for a big emotional shift and change within your relationships and within your sense of self. Maybe really learning how to balance those two areas of your life a lot more, getting clarity around what that looks like, maybe what you need to really or want to be really disciplined and committed to moving forward that are more aligned with your goals and more aligned with maybe your inner sense of community or friendships as well, just all kinds of relationships. It's like, what do I want moving forward and how can I cultivate more of that? There might be something a little bit maybe triggering about that too. That again kind of maybe brings up these subconscious things you didn't realize were still affecting you and calls into question like whether or not you're actually going to be committed and stay true to the path of the new life that you're building and new version of yourself that you're stepping into, or if you're going to fall back into old habits or patterns. As we head into Wednesday, the emotional focus shifts into your resources, into, debt, taxes, inheritances, maybe investments or things of that nature. Could also be feeling more emotionally vulnerable the middle end of the week, Wednesday and Thursday as well. There could be something really major that you're realizing you need to release emotionally as it relates to a creative passion or project, or this could even be a mindset. Like maybe if you've been hard on yourself with your creations or whatever it is that you're doing, there could be this need to really get vulnerable with yourself and release that voice in your head that would try to tell you you're not good enough, things of that nature. As we head into Thursday, it feels like there's a big emotional healing, emotional shift that happens, and that is supported related to what was coming up earlier in the week. Thursday feels a big catalyst day for everyone. It's really a day of big change and emotional shift, big shifts for you, Taurus, in your identity, your sense of self related to your perspective of life that may challenge, again, a belief system or a way of viewing life. It could be like something really big happens that you're like, oh, wow, life actually can surprise me, or life actually can really be this easy or can be this way. I don't have to make things so hard is what that feels like. As we head into Friday, the emotional focus shifts onto your perspective, onto what you're learning, what you're teaching. There could be this kind of emotional renewal related to that as well. Maybe this renewed sense of, again, what you're doing, how you're doing it, related to what you've been healing and moving away from as it relates to old patterns that just don't fit you anymore. So there's a big focus on a new beginning, setting intentions with how you view life. And that could, as we head into Saturday, extend to your career or what you're doing in the public space, how you're known to the world, what you're wanting to be known to the world for, and what you're doing to create that. That image, that reputation. There's a potential for a big change around that, and maybe more clarity around what that looks like for you or how to act on it. As we gear up for the new moon on Sunday in your area of perspective, of higher learning, of teaching as well. Also international affairs, there could be something related to that with this new moon for you too, depending on what's going on in your actual life and chart. But it does feel like there's a lot of momentum towards having a whole new life related to the shifts in your identity that have been taking place over the last few years, and really just stepping forward into a new version of you, a new life, in ways that maybe didn't feel so cohesive before, but it all kind of feels like, oh, it's lined up at this point as we end out the week. So that's your week ahead, Taurus. Let me know how it resonates, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Gemini Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your work, on your health, on what you're doing on a daily basis to support those things. There could be a positive shift with money related to what's going on in your career that you're wanting to change and step into a new direction around. As we head into Tuesday, there's potential for a big emotional shift as it relates to all of those things, especially maybe what's been going on in your inner world, your subconscious, healing past life stuff, maybe healing stuff from your childhood, releasing a lot of that emotionally. That is setting you up for some big shifts in your life. The inner world creates the outer world. So all of these things that you're emotionally shifting and changing and transforming are supporting everything else, even if it doesn't directly how do I say that? It doesn't directly seem like that's what's going on. It actually is what's going on. There could be related to change within your subconscious. There could be some big thing that happens, shift that happens with your career related to that on Tuesday as well. As we head into Wednesday, the emotional focus shifts on your relationships. So there could be something about home or a living situation that you're wanting to release. And maybe there's some emotional conflict or challenges around that as well. Maybe some emotions to release that come up around letting go of a home or letting go of possessions within a home or some sort of living situation with home or family in some way. So you can step into this new career and this new life that you've been building, this new image, this new reputation. There might be something, like I said, emotionally challenging about your relationships as well that affects that. There could also be a need to get really vulnerable because things could maybe trigger you that you didn't expect or didn't realize were still kind of there within your subconscious or your psyche that are brought up for you to really look at. But it feels like on Thursday, everything kind of culminates. There's big emotional shifts. There's the potential for big emotional healing on Thursday, maybe also related to a mindset around resources or how you're viewing money and things of that nature, stepping into a new path there, stepping fully into a new mindset with money, but also relationship with money. Maybe you're restructuring finances, shared resources, investments, things like that, in order to really have more of an expanded relationship with money that feels more supportive for you moving forward. Friday, the emotional focus shifts onto your money. So there's a lot of momentum building there. And over this weekend, there's the potential for a lot of big shifts, again, related to the inner work that you've been doing as it relates to that. And maybe also what's been changing about your career. Like if you've wanted a new job or you've started a business and just kind of been a grind without seeing much results, it feels like by this week, there's a lot that comes in around it that tells you you're on the right path. There could be a new job or promotion or whatever it is coming in for you that really feels more supportive. And it's because of the inner work that you've been doing. It's because of the inner shifts that have been taking place. Your inner world creates your outer world, right? I feel like we've talked about that in previous weeks for you, Gemini, and big focus right now. And it's creating these external shifts. And you're going to see that this week, especially as we have the new moon on Sunday in your area of resources. So that's your week ahead, Gemini. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Cancer Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your creative passions or dating, romance. There could be some big shift there that is related to what's been going on with you, a way that you've expanded or grown into a new version of yourself. There could be more creative, inspiration as we start out the week as well towards heading into this new path. There's a big focus on your relationships and what's going on there. And they could support major changes for you as well this week. Maybe introducing you to new people that you want to spend more time around, or a new community that helps you to step into some new goals. Or maybe you're really focused as well on goal setting. There's been maybe some changes related to what you want to do long term. There could be some insight or clarity that comes through around that on Tuesday, and some big shifts. Maybe also related to your perspective of life and how you're viewing things. This could also show up in what you're learning or what you're teaching, international affairs as well, depending on what's going on in your actual life and chart. But either way, there's a lot of big shifts that are building all week. And as we get into Wednesday, there could be some big release of an old mindset, maybe related to work or what you've been doing for money. It could also relate to health, mental, physical health, what you're doing on a daily basis to take care of those things. And as we head into Thursday, there's a lot of just harmony around healing an old you and stepping into the new. uh, Continues to be a big focus on your relationships as well. So maybe you're spending more time around people who actually support the new you that you've been stepping into and support where you're going and where you're headed, as opposed to keeping you maybe stuck in an old version of yourself in an old life. As we get into the weekend, the emotional focus shifts into your relationships. So again, more focus on other people in your life, on what's going on there, on what foundations you're building with people, or to bring in new people for yourself. There could be a big shift related to that as well, that it maybe happens with, again, your outer world, maybe social media, your long-term goals, your visions, maybe related to what's changing in your perspective, that has been shifting because you've been doing work on your mindset. Feel like this is really specific for you, Cancer. So let me know how this resonates in the comments. There might be a lot of new beginnings happening within your relationships as well, or maybe starting a new relationship. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it can absolutely be. Because of what's going on for you. As we head into Saturday, there's a big shift within your resources. So it could be related to what's been healing about career or image, about what you're wanting to do for work moving forward, related to money, related to resources, investments. There could be something that comes up around that. Could also impact sexuality or vulnerability, intimacy, things of that nature, inheritances, investments as well. The new moon that we have on Sunday is happening in your area of relationships. So if you're single and wanting to meet somebody, this could very well be the time. Go to events, go network, put yourself out there, maybe on social media, or, if friends invite you to things, like go. It feels like there's just a lot of focus on meeting people and putting yourself around people that are going to support you moving forward as you head into your next chapter. And that's where we end out the week for you, is setting intentions of what you want that to look like for yourself moving forward. So that's your week ahead, Cancer. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Leo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your home and your family. There could be a big shifts that happen at the start of the week within your inner world, maybe with what's going on in your home or your living situation, that you've been maybe wanting to make a change with that. It feels like that kind of culminates on Tuesday, but it could put some tension on a change you've been wanting to make in your career. So the emotional focus is on your home and family, but there's something change or chaos happening within your career, public image, that you have to deal with as well. It kind of puts a strain on what has been going on with your home. But it feels like there's a need, to maybe be really honest with yourself of like what you want moving forward, and what changes you want, as opposed to getting sucked up into changes that maybe don't feel aligned for you. As we head into Wednesday, there's the potential for a big shift within your money, with your resources, related to creativity, maybe dating or romance as well. Children, if that applies. There's a big emotional focus on all of those things, creative passion or pursuit. But there could be something you have to really, you're challenged to release about money or resources, maybe even possessions as well, like getting rid of stuff that doesn't bring you joy, like Marie Kondoing your life. Could be the focus on Wednesday. But as we head into Thursday, it feels like there's a big shift that takes place, that really moves you into a new direction. That feels like, oh, this is actually what I needed in order to step into this, or to heal this, or to see this differently. It feels like there's a lot of positive change that is supported on Thursday. But it could also trigger something about your mindset, that you can't take with you into the new life, that you have to really question of, do I want to view things this way, or do I want to view it another way that's actually more beneficial for me? Again, it's really about getting clear with yourself on what you want for your life and what changes you desire, and are willing to maybe make some sacrifices for, get uncomfortable a little bit for, to have, instead of being swept up by ones that you don't want to be associated with. As we head into Friday, the emotional focus shifts into your work, onto your daily routine, your physical and mental health as well. So there's a big focus, and there has been all month, on your routines, your health, maybe your work as well, what you're doing on a daily basis for work. And there could be some really big shifts related to that, that are taking place in your career as well, or that are causing, shifts in your career. Maybe that you've been doing a lot of mindset work on viewing things differently and on manifesting something really specific, and it's starting to really come in this week and really starting to feel more aligned than ever. And that is kind of the energy as we end out this week and as we head into the new moon that we have on Sunday in your area of day-to-day work and in your area of physical health. So there's this big opportunity for, intention setting there, for to have a new beginning and to start a new chapter with all of that. That's going to ripple out into every other area of your life that you've been wanting to change, or wanting to just get kind of recalibrated with, in a way that feels more in alignment for you moving forward. That is your week ahead, Leo. So let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Virgo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your day-to-day, on your routines, where you're going, who you're talking to, also supporting some kind of expansion within social media or your community, maybe your long-term goals or visions as well, and is also supporting where you're headed with relationships, maybe stepping into a new direction with a certain relationship, or just relationships, community, friendships in general. As we head into Tuesday, it feels like there's a lot of tension between what's changing within your perspective of life, your belief systems, maybe also travel, short distance, long distance. It feels like there's some tension between those two areas, like what's going on in your day-to-day, or what you need to do in your day-to-day, and then these kind of longer term visions or goals, or ways of viewing life. There could also be something about an old mindset that is challenged in you, related to an old version of yourself that you've been letting go of and releasing, really all of this past year. Also this week, there's a big focus on dating. Romance could show up in creative passions or pursuits as well. Maybe something you're really wanting to take action on, starting to take action on with creative passions or pursuits that maybe it was put on the back burner, and there's a lot of momentum towards starting it, or towards really doing it in a new way this week. But on Wednesday, there could be something you have to release, again, related to an old version of yourself or identity, in order to do that, in order to feel more aligned with where you're headed with this creative passion or pursuit. Moving forward, that's going to support these changes in your work and changes in your career. Could also be supporting you in moving into a new direction with relationships, all kinds of relationships, not just romantic. As we head into Thursday, it feels like all of that catalyzes. There's a big shift that occurs on Wednesday, energetically, within your inner world, within your energy, related to the healing you've been doing with money, with maybe childhood stuff, belief system stuff, again, an old version of yourself that's been clearing out as well. It feels like Thursday is when it all kind of like, it's like, whoop, wow, I wake up feeling different, or something happens that catalyzes a big change in you. That's like, whoa, I feel a shift, is how Thursday feels. And that could also support some creative inspiration coming through to act on this passion or this thing that you're creating and stepping into as well. Friday, the emotional focus shifts into your creativity. So again, it feels like the momentum is building all week to create something, or to release something, to launch something, maybe related to a business or work in some way, some capacity, that is it has been happening underneath the surface. It's like you've been going through so much energetic change. Maybe you've been sick or you've had to really rest a lot more than you're used to. But it is supporting these shifts in what you're doing, like in your motivation to create and in your inspiration to create. And it all kind of culminates as we end out this week. And that's where we're going to have the new moon in Capricorn for you, Virgo, is in your area of creative passions and pursuits. So there could be a really big new beginning with all of those things as we end out your week on Sunday. So that is your week ahead, Virgo. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Libra Rising. We start off the week with the emotional focus on your money. There could be some realizations you get around money about possessions, resources. You're realizing you want something to change there. You want to alchemize that area of your life in whatever way. And there could be things related to that that you're taking action on within your home or with family. Could be childhood stuff or belief systems as well, but like what's changing about your foundations to support what you want to change about money. That is really where we start off the week for you, especially as we head into Tuesday. There could be some big emotional shift with your money related to all of that. Maybe even your resources as well, investments, taxes, debt, things like that. Could show up in, in intimacy or just with needing to maybe be more vulnerable about those things as well. And there could also be something really triggering related to that that goes on with relationships, but it kind of triggers an old version of you, and you might really react differently than you would have before, and you realize that, like, you kind of see outside of it, of like, whoa, I would have like really reacted differently to that before, but I'm not that person anymore. So there's something about that that might show up at the start of the week as well. As we head into Wednesday, it feels like there's a lot of emotional focus on your day-to-day, running errands, maybe also on your belief systems, communication, taking a short trip somewhere that maybe challenges what you're doing in work and what direction you're headed with work as well. But it also gives you the opportunity and kind of challenges you to release some further belief systems, subconscious wounds, or things that just haven't been serving you, maybe around perfectionism or self-criticism, your mindset. It's like what in your mindset or how you talk to yourself internally needs to be released, and you're realizing there's emotional momentum towards releasing it on Wednesday. As we head into Thursday, I mean, Thursday is a really big day of catalyzation. Is that a word? Of having big changes and shifts within what's going on in your day-to-day, what's going on with work. It feels like there's a lot of change that is really positively supported on Thursday, and it's been building all week, really all year so far. This has been building, and it feels like it all kind of comes to a head on Thursday. Although it might again bring up some kind of themes of an old mindset, but you're viewing things differently. And you also see that on Thursday. There might be something that challenges an old mindset, but you're like, wait, I don't view it that way, or I don't react that way anymore, or I don't believe that anymore. And so you really realize how much you've changed and healed and stepped into a new life and a new version of yourself. And it really all culminates as we end out the week. Friday, the emotional focus shifts onto your home. So you might be really focused on your home, family, decorating, getting things organized or cleared within what's going on in your living situation. There's a huge focus on your home, your housing, and big positive shifts there as well, maybe related to money, maybe related to resources or feeling support from the outside, shared resources. As we head into the weekend, that's really the overall focus, is making the most of these shifts, and really getting clear on, okay, what is my structure now? What are my systems in place now with my foundations, so that I can expand? Because there's been this push and pull between what's going on in your home and what you want to do in your career. And so it's the focus majorly as we end out this week is on what structures do you need in place to have expansion in your career. There's a reason there's been a push and pull. It's maybe not the time to focus heavily on career at the moment. So you are focused more so on your foundations and what you need there in order to expand in your career, and maybe also feel supported by the people around you to do that as well. And that's where we end out the week, as we have the new moon on Sunday in Capricorn in your area of home and family. There's a big focus emotionally on setting intentions to have a new beginning with those things, and to really be acting on them. So that's your week, Libra. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Scorpio Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on you, on your identity, on your sense of self. There could be some things you're realizing you want to alchemize or transform about yourself, your appearance, how you're presenting yourself to the world could also support some change with your creative pursuits, passions, or projects as well. Tuesday, it feels like there's tension between this new version of you that you're wanting to step into or are stepping into, and what's changing about your relationships, or what you want to change about your relationships. It feels more energetic as well, like you're wanting to attract different people in your life, and you're like, okay, what energy do I step into? Do I move forward with in order to have different types of people around me and to have different relationships than I have attracted in the past? There's a huge focus all week, and really has been all year, on your belief systems as it relates to that, on your communication styles, internal communication and external communication, external communication, like how you're talking to yourself and what stories you're telling other people about this. And it feels like that is putting a lot of tension on your belief systems or your philosophies of life. Could also be some push and pull between short distance travel or long distance travel, domestic or international, if that applies. But the focus really is on your kind of day to day, is on more closer to home energy right now, and maybe giving yourself an opportunity to shift again your inner world to have your outternal, why do I keep wanting to say outternal, external world shifted as well. It feels like on there might be a goal, like on Wednesday, there might be something you're realizing about your long-term goals or visions that you just don't align with anymore, and you're having to make a change with as well, maybe related to money, and your mindset as it relates to that. Thursday, there's a big potential on Thursday for a lot of shifts, emotionally and really just in your kind of day to day. Like if you've moved recently, you're suddenly around different people, you have different habits, you have to get really clear on what you want to do on a daily basis and where you want to go and who you want to talk to. So it feels like there's a lot of momentum towards that on Thursday, and really maybe putting yourself out there, to meet new people or to connect with different people, to be around more creative inspiration, or to do things that really inspire you, that really motivate you. And it feels like there's something about money and work as well that's getting a boost, and a little bit of like a big healing emotionally on Thursday as well. Again, maybe related to the mindset shifts you've been doing with all of those things. As we head into Friday, the emotional focus moves into your day to day and on what structures and routines you have in your life that really ground you, that help you make these changes you want to make to your foundations and to your life moving forward. It feels like on Saturday, there could be some big shift with home, with family, with what's going on there. Maybe, again, you're wanting to move or have moved recently. And so it's kind of like, okay, now what is important to me to have? What is important for me to do on a daily basis? What kind of people do I want to put myself around? And there's a big focus with the new moon on Sunday on that as well. What beginning do you want to have with your daily practices, your daily routines, where you're going, who you're talking to, and as well as your belief systems? Like, what do you really want to believe gets to be true about your life, and how can you fully integrate that and embody that. Maybe it's setting reminders on your phone so that you don't fall back into old ways, right? It's getting really clear on what that looks like and making the steps, taking the steps to make it happen. So that's how we end out your week, Scorpio. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Sagittarius. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your subconscious, on your inner world. There could be a lot of focus at the start of the week on your changing your energy within yourself, maybe related to new practices, maybe related to something that's going on in your home, a change there, maybe with resources or vulnerability or intimacy as well. All year there's been a huge focus on building something with money that's different than what you have been doing, or really if you have been kind of stepping into a new thing, it's becoming more streamlined, it's becoming more of a foundational shift, and moving forward as well. So there's a lot of focus on that too. Tuesday, there's tension between your physical health and your mental health, and maybe what you're doing on a daily basis to support your physical health. Maybe there's old practices or ways of behaving, subconscious beliefs coming up for you that have contributed to what you've been doing on a daily basis to support yourself, or maybe you're realizing, okay, this I've been doing and kind of neglecting myself. What do I need? What shifts can I make in order to feel more supported and feel more balanced with physical and mental health, energetic health as well? Wednesday, the emotional focus shifts into you, into your identity. Really, there's this sense of emotional renewal as we are in the middle of the week on Wednesday, but it could challenge something about your home or family, and your career as well. Maybe there's something about your career or your image that you really have to release and step away from. It could be just habits with your mindset of like being overly perfectionistic or self-critical of what you're doing, or over analyzing things. There could be something you're realizing you really need to let go of and release as it relates to that. Thursday is a day of catalyzation. I don't know if that's a real word, but that's what I've been calling it. It's a day of catalysts. There's big emotional shifts within your identity related to what's been healing about dating or romance. Creative passions as well could be related to that. Whatever's been a trigger for you as it relates to an old version of yourself is getting a big emotional boost towards being healed. And it could also affect something within your mindset related to money, related to possessions, to resources, kind of like your foundation. Could be food also, if that applies. That's really specific and only maybe for some people, but there could be some big shifts around your mindset with food as well, that you're realizing like, oh, I used to view it this way, and now I've completely stepped into a new version of me that I don't even recognize the person I used to be anymore. And there's a big drastic kind of realization around that on Thursday. Friday, the emotional focus shifts into your money. That's where we're going to have the new moon in Capricorn on Sunday for you. Sagittarius is in your possessions, in your money. There could be some really big things you're wanting to begin setting intentions around having with money or with possessions. Like I said, with food, it's kind of all in this one area where there's a huge focus right now for you, and that could be related to work. Maybe you're doing something else for money, and kind of moving in a new direction with your work and with your career. Maybe shifting your reputation or your image related to that as well, and feeling more aligned with the foundation that you're putting in place as it relates to how you make money, what you're doing on a daily basis for money, and maybe even what you actually do with the money that you receive from those shifts that are taking place in your work, in your day-to-day. There could be some shifts also happening with your home or with family related to all of that. And then as we end out the week, like I said, we have the new moon in Capricorn in your area of money and resources and possessions. So there's big shifts that culminate all week, and really you start to see some new exciting energy around as we end out the week. So that is your week ahead. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Capricorn Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your long-term goals and visions. So there might be a lot changing around what you thought your life was going to look like versus what you actually are realizing you want it to look like. That could be related to relationships or kind of some mindset shifts that have been happening for you or taking place for you. So maybe some new ideas or information you've come upon that you're like, oh, actually, I'm really inspired by this right now, and I want to change my life to match that instead of what I thought I wanted it to be. In this new you that you're stepping into, this new identity and version of yourself that you're aligning with might challenge something about home or family or wounds from childhood as well. But the focus is on you. The focus is on stepping in a new direction with you and not getting bogged down by the old. Tuesday, there could be some tension between that, what's changing about your long term goals, visions, maybe community, and what's going on with dating or romance or creative passions or pursuits. Maybe you're rethinking a project because, again, maybe it doesn't line up with what you actually want to be doing long term or how you want to be known to the world moving forward. So there could be some big breakthroughs or changes that happen around that maybe don't feel super comfortable, but it actually feels better, more exciting than the alternative. Wednesday, the emotional focus shifts into your subconscious, and that could put some challenges or add some conflict to what's going on with your belief systems or what you're learning or what you're teaching or what information you're wanting to share with the world. It could feel like, okay, do I really want to go about it this way? Or it could really challenge an old belief system within yourself to look at some, again, maybe wound in your subconscious related to home or family or childhood in some way. Thursday, it feels like all those shifts really build up to create some momentum towards a big change and a big transformation and a big kind of like, aha, this is what I was wanting to shift, or this is what I was wanting to feel. And getting more emotional clarity around all of that and how you have really stepped into a new version of yourself. And there might even be this renewed sense of creativity, renewed sense of inspiration as well related to that. There's just a big moment of like an aha moment of healing, of moving forward and stepping into a new direction and feeling more aligned than ever with that. As we head into Friday, the emotional focus shifts into you. There's a sense of emotional renewal of your identity, of your sense of self that kind of ripples out into every other area of your life. There might be this feeling of really being more cohesive with what you're doing, moving forward, and who you are moving forward into these new things and these new chapters. And that's where we're going to have the new moon that takes place on Sunday. It's going to be in your area of you. So there's a big focus on having a new beginning with your sense of self and that rippling out into every single area of your life. There could also be over the weekend a big change with your money related to that as well. Maybe you've really been stepping into this new version of yourself and you're seeing that reflected in your money or your resources as well as feeling it energetically. So that is your week ahead, Capricorn. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Aquarius Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your career. There could be some big changes you're making there, stepping into a new direction around that are heavily supported at the start of the week. Maybe also supporting some change with your money, new direction with your money, new beginning with money and work. It all feels like it culminates this week. There could be a big focus as well on what about that is bringing up some subconscious things or a need to shift some inner beliefs. Or heal from some past life stuff that's coming up for you as well. That or maybe a focus on your mental health related to that, and learning how to maybe balance your physical health with your mental health, balance this new career or these new work shifts, career shifts with what's going on with home. There's a focus on bringing into balance your outer world and your inner world. related to all of these shifts. It's kind of like, okay, what's the balancing act here? And how do I put it into place? What foundations do I need, maybe with your spiritual practices or with your mental health or your mindset, in order to make the most of this and not kind of drop everything, like really keep it all in balance. As we head into Wednesday, the emotional focus shifts into your long-term goals, visions, community, and kind of challenges what's going on with your money. There might be a need for you to release something as it relates to resources, investments, debt, taxes. Maybe you've been avoiding any of those things. And so there's a need to really get clear on it. And again, it's all about your systems and your structures right now. Internally, maybe also experiencing some or need to shift some mindset things as it relates to all of that too, and have more faith in cultivating more belief in what you're doing, moving forward. And then it feels like whatever you shift or change on Thursday, it all kind of catalyzes. And there's a lot of momentum towards a big energetic shift and healing of old wounds. So you really align with a new version of yourself and step into it fully. It feels like there's a sense of embodiment that happens within your inner world and within your energy, that helps you, or how do I want to say that? Like helps you feel more aligned with this new chapter and new life of like, oh, this is it. And it's here now kind of thing. As we head into the weekend, Friday, the emotional focus shifts onto your subconscious. That's where we're going to have the new moon for you, is in your area of the inner world, the hidden. There could be, again, things coming to light about your belief systems in your inner world, your mental health that really need a shift and that need a focus of like, okay, I need to be on my meditation, or I need to be on my yoga. I need to have a therapy session once a week or whatever it is. Like I need to have these foundational things within my practices that help me to take care of myself in ways that I need, and stay aligned with these energetic shifts that have been taking place, so that you don't fall back into old habits or patterns that don't serve you, that you can't take with you into this new year. And there could be some major shifts that build as we end out the week around all of that. On Saturday and on Sunday, like I said, we have the new moon there for you. So there's a big focus on a new chapter, on a new beginning, and what you want to do about all of that moving forward that feels more aligned than ever. And that's your week ahead, Aquarius. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Pisces Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your perspective, on what you're learning or what you're teaching, and how that's contributing to the way that you view life around you. That could also very much support some changes within your identity, within your sense of self, that are maybe happening within dating or romance or creative passions as well. Maybe there's something new creatively that you're really embarking on, and it requires you to kind of step into a new version of yourself and see life differently. So that's all really supported on Monday. Tuesday, it feels like there's some tension between, where you want to head with that and some old belief systems or some communication styles or patterns that you've been reflecting on you want to change. There's emotional tension towards changing them on Tuesday. There might be something that feels not so comfortable about that, but it does send you into a kind of breakthrough and supports you emotionally towards really being disciplined and committed to this new version of yourself that you have stepped into. As we head into Wednesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your career, your public image, your reputation. There might be something about that challenges this version of you that you're stepping into and really requires you to get real with yourself about what you want moving forward and who you want to be and how you want to be known. There could be something about a relationship, romantic or not, a person in your life you might have to release, maybe somebody who is overly critical or judgmental or just in an energy that doesn't align with you anymore. So you might realize that that needs to change majorly on Wednesday as well. On Thursday, though, it feels like there's a lot of support towards, things being more streamlined, things feeling more good, things really harmonizing, and it all kind of like feeling a lot better than it has previously. There could be a lot that's changing in your career that's supported by money and inner healing you've been doing with all of that. That really clicks into place on Thursday. There could be some big shifts with all of those things that helps you to feel more like the new you that you're stepping into. Helps you to feel more embodied in what you're doing moving forward. Friday, the emotional focus shifts into your long-term goals, visions, friendships, community, and what structures and systems you want in that area of your life. That is where we're going to have the new moon in Capricorn for you. So there's a big focus on that all weekend of what do I want to do moving forward? What are my long-term goals and visions? What do I want for my life? What do I foresee for myself that's different than the old me wanted? What does this new version of me want? What does this new me want? And how can I plan for it now in order to create it and to really have it moving forward into this year. So that is how we end out your week, Pisces. And I'm so excited for you. Let me know how it resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Bye.